The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
I can deal with this.
The volume's good, yes.
I can deal with this.
Let me take a couple more sips.
And as long as you don't say anything to get kicked off, then you're fine. So
Right. I've never been kicked off.
no, not here.
I've never been kicked off this podcast.
I've never been kicked off Facebook. Have you?
I think I'm on my 5th time.
Have you, by any chance?
I had a warning one time because I shared a raffle for guns.
Oh,
You should get closer.
Guns
to mine.
bad. Yeah, you're getting a bit closer. Okay. I'll get you longer. I'll get an extension. So we're working on it. We've had those, we had the booms, and the booms were bad, but these are better, but they still need to be a little taller. Actually, because Brittany's sitting in the high chair. That's Brittany's problem. She's in the high chair today. So I guess we get a book, and you can take that, and that'd be great, but it'll be fixed for next week, I promise you, because we'll keep tweaking. We keep tweaking. We're a baby. We're like not even 2 years old yet. We just keep tweaking.
Right.
Not twerking, tweaking.
Right.
I don't do either.
I did. No, you really don't. But I got to tell you about the one time out of the 4 or 5 times I've been kicked off of Facebook.
I hope
Can I tell you?
Time that we're talking about.
No, I'm going to get kicked off over and over again. I've got a target on my back.
It's your mission.
But I want to tell you about the one thing that I said. Mm-hmm. I was in solidarity with a self-described feminist. And she said, true or false, men can be pigs. And I responded, yes, men can be pigs. And they booted me for 30 days, and they did not boot her.
Okay.
Because she asked the question, and I answered it in the affirmative.
Okay.
I'm gone, she stayed. True story.
Okay.
Which, by the way, that's a true statement, I think. But
sure. And that's not.
And not worth getting
I
kicked off.
find nothing wrong with that,
Wait, you find nothing wrong with him
saying
being able to?
No, saying the pig thing. I'm fine with that. He can say that.
There was an AI algorithm.
There's something wrong with the fact that he got kicked off and
She didn't? Well, sure. Absolutely there is.
So there was I
have no problem with what you got kicked off for last time, though. You and I have had this discussion.
We had this discussion.
Okay, so let's tell everyone else what we got kicked off for.
You want to say it now? Go ahead. I'm not going to beep it. You're good.
This is okay. This is what started it. True or false? Obama indirectly killed bin Laden. Is that true? Indirectly? Did he give the order?
He gave the order, absolutely.
So did Obama kill bin Laden?
Gave the order.
He gave the order.
Yep. He didn't pull the trigger.
Is he responsible for bin Laden's death?
Sure.
Okay, but he wasn't the SEAL that went in and killed him. So Obama said that he killed bin Laden. He said that, okay? So if Obama can say, which by the way, I supported, no, I don't want to get kicked off this podcast for saying this, but I supported Obama killing bin Laden.
Yeah.
However, it turns out that you can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that. So
it's a different world.
So if I were to say today that Obama, let's say bin Laden was still alive, and I said, I think Obama should kill bin Laden, even though that already happened, and by Facebook's own rules, I'm going to be kicked off for inciting violence. So what I said was, I went on a very short diatribe of Putin and what needs to happen to that guy. Mm-hmm. And I said, I've got no problem saying it. I think somebody inside the Kremlin needs to deal with him immediately. And then I said, he probably just needs to be assassinated by someone inside the Kremlin. Mm-hmm. Now, we all know that the U.S. government is probably like the Biden people. Joe Biden himself.
There's a plan. You think there's a plan?
I bet
you think there's a plan.
I bet Joe Biden, if he had Putin in his crosshairs and he could take the proverbial shot, I think there's a chance. Maybe I'm speaking for the president now, and that could be a problem. But maybe Biden would be like, yeah, okay, we could end this war. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I'm in Facebook jail.
Okay, so my question is are we arguing about not that we're arguing, because we don't argue.
We're very civil. We're a very civil discussion.
We always just have discussions.
Yes.
That's the best thing about this, is that we're always just having discussions. But my question, I guess, is with the discussion, in regards to the discussion, are we saying Frank shouldn't have gotten kicked off Facebook for this, or are we saying Frank shouldn't have said this? What are we saying here?
I'm saying it's Facebook's sandbox and it's Facebook's rules, and you have to abide by them. I mean, the First Amendment does not pertain to Facebook. I'm sorry. The First Amendment pertains to you speaking out against your government. So it's Facebook's rules, and if they want to say that, if they want to defend that and say, oh, you're bad, boom, that's what they can do. That is their business. Frankie's problem is with Mark Zuckerberg. That's kind of the way it is. So they're saying
he was bad because he made, was it a threat? Because, I mean, that technically wasn't a threat. That was a suggestion. I don't know. I'm kind of asking.
It's kind of like this, Bob. So I agree. I brought this to my father's attention, and Bob, he definitely, I think, sided with you in the terms of matter of factly, is like it's Facebook's sandbox.
Yeah.
The rules are upside down, perverted, twisted.
Yeah.
Backwards.
It's not Frank
and you have to abide by those screwed up rules.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not freedom of speech. However, it's also not legal to walk into the Capitol building when certain people are talking, even if the Capitol Police opens up the door for you and you walk in and you're taking pictures and you're hanging out, and you can't do that at certain times either, I guess.
They're misdemeanors. This was not a tour. This was a group of people who were, I think it's very fair to call it a riot. The people who descended upon the Capitol, some of whom were armed, not necessarily with guns. Maybe there were guns, I don't know, but there were things that were used as weapons. There were people that were injured. Now, to go into this and look at it, you have had 30 people from the state of Illinois who are now facing charges for this. And, the Capitol Police, I believe, they were overwhelmed that day. And I think some of them were like, this is just going to be easier, just let these people come in. Because I think the Capitol Police were kind of like, they're just going to come in and just run through the place or whatever. They didn't know they'd be like pooping on desks and
Can I push
stuff.
back on the arms part?
Sure.
So when I think of someone being armed, or if I think of an insurrection, or I definitely think it was a rebellion. I definitely think it was a protest. I definitely think it was riot's
a good word, I think.
I think
riot's a word everybody can agree on.
Right. I don't agree on insurrection.
I think riot is a word we can agree on.
Riot's good. But when I think of being armed, if I need to go, I mean, the American bloodline is kind of, we're all about succession. We're all about revolution. We're all about, we're still a baby country. If MRN's 2 years old, we're only about 225 years or whatever it is.
Almost 250.
What exactly were these rioters, these protesters armed with specifically?
If you have clubs, if you have knives, are you not armed? If you grab a flagpole with a spear at the end of it and decide to poke somebody with it, are you not using an arm? Are you not? Is that armed?
Did somebody get poked?
I'm saying if somebody were to do that.
If.
Okay.
Yeah, if.
Okay.
But is that what happened?
No.
I'm posing that because I don't remember every piece of footage. I remember people like swinging.
This is the first
flagpoles.
This is the first time that I've heard
taking a flagpole and swinging it.
This is the first time that I've heard that.
You never saw that. You never saw any video where somebody grabbed a flagpole and
this is the first time that I've heard that anybody was armed. This is the first time I've heard that.
But do you consider that if somebody were to come in here with a ball bat and go after us, are they armed?
Yes.
Armed with a ball bat? Sure.
Yeah.
So if you grab a flagpole and you decide you're going to, if I grabbed a flagpole there and decided I was going to swing and whack you in the head, was I armed with that flagpole and took that action?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm sticking with facts and no emotions.
Okay.
Because that's how we try to rule around here, right? Mm-hmm. Just facts.
Yeah. So, so the folks from Quincy are they're misdemeanor charges. Let's just be clear. They're misdemeanors they're facing. After all the Sturm and Drang and blah, 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 they are misdemeanor. Some people got more charges. Some people got major charges. But the folks from Quincy are getting misdemeanor charges, and they'll be sentenced on May 16th.
Given that it was not an insurrection, and given that they were not armed, right?
Don't believe.
And it was
I don't believe
not,
so.
Not with anything
No.
except for their cameras. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they went in there.
Yeah, they were just like, "Hey, cool,
There were
great."
two older people with their cameras saying,
we'll just tour. We're just going to follow the crowd. And I think there were many people who were like that. I think there were many people who got caught up in this, walked in. Hey, everybody else walking in. We're going in. I think there were a few knuckleheads in there who had other intentions. But I think the vast majority of people who went in there were just like, oh, everybody's going in. Let's just go in the Capitol. I really think that was the case. But I do think you had a select group of knuckleheads who were looking to do some serious damage. I really do.
I think it's all about perspective too. The media on one side played it up one way. The media on the other side played it down one way. It's kind of bringing it back to, Facebook jail and how that goes. It's it's all about perspective. It's kind of how who is deciding this, and in this case, and in your case, it's Zuckerberg or whoever, the algorithm. It's not always fair. Like your first case scenario where you said the lady posed the question, are all men pigs? And then you get booted, she does not. Bring it back even more. So technically you got booted because you made an implied threat, I guess, or if you would not, like on a world leader. Are you going to be able to actually accomplish this or take action here in Quincy, Illinois? No. So like the fact that like you got put into Facebook jail for this is a little interesting when we had people here locally saying things about people here locally in regards to the COVID vaccine. Like you said, not you, but like you would have people say, if they're not vaccinated, just let them die. And that got passed on Facebook, Zuckerberg didn't do anything about that, and that was at a local level. Oh, if they're not vaccinated, don't let them in the hospital. Sorry to change the subject, but again, it's all about perspective and who's running the show. We can make death threats on some people on this platform, but we can't make these, and again, it wasn't a threat, I think it was a suggestion, about other people. I know that it's just crazy how the platform...
You made a literal offhand comment, and and again, we've done it all. How many times in our lives have we said, "Oh, I wish they'd just die. They're a pain in the ass," or whatever. You don't mean it, but in today's culture and in this world, and with the way social media is, they are going to flag that kind of stuff.
However, they would not flag that if the president said it. If the leader said it, no. If the plebe says it, yes. I think that's my biggest point.
Well, the leader's elected to say it.
We all kind of agree in the green room or off camera.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put words in your mouth. But if I said, hey, do you think somebody should make Putin go away? Because I made the joke in our text. I'm like, maybe we should just offer him treats. Like, like fun size, like the fun size bars, maybe then he'll go away. No, and then Bob made a good comment. He goes, what about overthrown? Like that would be a way to, if the Kremlin overthrew him, I don't know how you do that.
It's happened in Russia before.
Right.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
Lenin.
He's not. Others, yeah. If he's being overthrown, then it is by somebody much colder and harder than Putin. So, I don't think we really want an overthrow.
Hey, I remember the good old Boris Yeltsin days. He was a good guy. He liked to drink. He was fun. Woo! Yeah.
Gorbachev.
Gorby? Yeah, Gorby was fine.
Yeah.
I don't think what you said, though, was bad, personally.
I don't either, but...
I also don't think...
As Americans, we are, we believe that our government should be ruled in a democracy fashion. We're also visceral beings where we feel compelled to call out people when you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. If you're subjugating people, we as Americans feel compelled to call people out. We do that at a local level too. If you see something that's probably not supposed to be happening, we feel compelled to call people out. And then, then that instead of being put in Facebook jail, we're kind of put in social jail, because nobody wants to do anything about it. You know, we call them out, and then most people, like, we want to hide in our hole and say, you know, so-and-so has a point or something. Frank has a point, but I don't want to do anything about it.
Like, yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's like, yeah, Putin's a horrible guy. And for you to say that's great. But, you know, it's not like you are going to, you know, leave, you know, your business and get a flight to Moscow and, hey, I'm, you know, going to do my Ethan Hunt, James Bond, whatever, and take him out. I mean, that's not going to happen. So it's not realistic. And again, you got to look at it in the context in which you're in the forum. You got to look at the forum you're in. As like your dad said and I said, it's Facebook and it's their rules.
What's interesting is if whoever has the AI algorithm to flag me in that kind of thing for insightful speech or whatever, those people who develop those algorithms have not thought this all the way out. So, for example, if I say, I believe in capital punishment, that is worse than saying Hitler or Putin or somebody should be assassinated. If I would have said Hitler, I wish Hitler would have been assassinated, or if Hitler was alive and I said that, would they flag that? I mean, if you say
that's interesting.
If you say you believe in capital punishment, that means that people in your own country that just kill one person in cold blood, that person should die. That's worse than saying a foreign leader who's killing thousands of people should die.
Or millions in Hitler's case.
Or millions in Hitler's case. I'm just saying they're out to get me. It's fine. And by the way, the couple on 1-6 that got the misdemeanors, I thought long and hard about this, and I've been curious to see what your thoughts are on this. Thank goodness they got hit for a misdemeanor at the worst. I would say this, given that it was not a insurrection, given that they were not armed, given that it's pretty clear, they're like, oh, the doors are open, they're letting, everyone's being cool, they're walking around.
We have our cameras.
It's kind of like this. It's like when I get pulled over in Missouri for doing 7 miles over the speed limit when I thought I was only doing 2. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Right.
So that couple, they're probably pretty awesome. They probably are patriots. And they got caught up in the mix. So it's a $5,000 maximum fine according to the top story.
And maybe 6 months in jail. Maybe
6 months in jail. Whoo, that's steep.
So
that's too much. Mm-hmm. That's too much.
I agree.
6 months?
Yeah,
that's too much.
That wouldn't be fun.
Well, only because I know what can happen in jail. I've never been there. But.
Also, the tax dollars are paying for that. You know, for them to eat, sleep, be there, like for what is.
Well, and again, they for the most part, I believe, have moved on. They've gotten new jobs. They've tried to put it behind them, and now they can finally. And I think that's 99% of the reason behind the guilty plea is like we just don't put it behind us. And hopefully they have a support system who will support them in what they're doing and saying yes, we're pleading to these much lesser charges that were brought about us in the beginning. We just want to get this behind us, and good, and that's what they should do.
Once we stop talking about it, maybe they can get it.
Or maybe they should just take the Harry route and write a book.
They could. They sat in our green room, and I had a really nice chat with Jason and Christina, and they said we can't say anything publicly because of the lawyer, and it was all still underway. I said that's great, but I said whenever you guys want to just sit down and talk about it, when the thing's all said and done, you got a platform. You got a platform here, or just we'll listen to you. You can just sit down and we can go through it. And I think they should. And that offer is still out there, and I'm going to, allow them to do that. So if they wish, and they should. And I think that's if a lot of the people, again, I think it was a small percentage of the people who were actually there at the Capitol on January 6th had truly evil and bad intentions. I don't think it was a huge part of that group. I think most people were like the Girdings, like, hey, let's just go in. That's how I feel. Those people that have those intentions, it's also possible. So what you just said specifically is probably true. It's probably true. If you've got, is it 600 people, 900? How many people were at the Capitol? Jesus, I don't remember.
Let's just split the difference and call it 750. Mm-hmm. There were hundreds of people in there. The chances of there being an evil person there, like at least one, is high.
Sure,
it's high, and the possibility of one of them being actually armed for real is high.
Sure, it is.
Okay, so that being said, however, if I was reading about the Boston Tea Party today after our text.
Okay.
I'm going to make a joke here.
Okay.
It's a joke.
Okay.
The founding fathers would be shooting by now. As a joke, as a comedic joke. Anybody who wants to think that there's a kernel of truth in there, I'm saying the founding fathers, knowing how hell-bent they were on separating from King George, if you move them directly to today and they see the tax rates and they see the obvious, you want to talk about evil? Go ahead.
They would go, Jesus, you guys screwed up everything we built. That's exactly what they say.
And I think the majority of those people in that Capitol building agree with that sentiment. To the point where they're willing to walk in the Capitol with no guns and pick up a flagpole at the worst and kind of like.
But the
worst thing they did.
The American Revolution was about taxation without representation. Currently, we have taxation with representation, and it sucks. It does.
What's worse, though? What's worse?
I don't know. I wasn't alive in me and Alexander Hamilton weren't having drinks down in Sam Adams pub. I mean, so. But right now, yeah, it's like because you elect these people who never leave office, and they're there all the time, and they're getting rich, and their net worth. They're in Congress for 6 years, and their net worth goes from $200,000 to $2 million. And it's like, whoa, you make $185,000 a year. How did that happen? What the hell?
What percentage of the IRS are elected officials of that whole body?
Oh, the IRS? Nobody's elected.
Yeah,
they work for the president.
They do whatever they want to do.
Don't get me started. I'm dealing with them right now. Just through work, and yeah, it's just.
Let's keep that on the down low. Let's not go to that.
Don't talk
I just
about
cut
taxes.
I just pay them. I just pay my payment every month. Here, this is
and those people that went into the Capitol building, most of them are like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. This is bad. We got to start something new. I mean, is it okay to ask for a revolution that's peaceful?
Beatles did.
Then, hot damn. The White Album. The White Album solved all of this.
I'm always asking for a revolution. Peacefully.
Yeah.
A peaceful revolution.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what Martin Luther King was about. You know, look what I got him. Whacked.
By our own government, probably.
Oh, come on.
You don't think so? Oh, that's a conspiracy theory that
I don't know. I don't want to do that because then we start talking about the Kennedy boys and we go down that road and it's like, oh.
We don't talk about conspiracies.
Assassinations.
No.
Yeah.
You know where my song is from. I really hope so.
I do.
I have a feeling this guy over here doesn't because his kids aren't.
What? No, I know.
But
Canto. We don't.
Oh yeah,
about
I did see that.
Bruno.
Yeah.
I did see that. I saw.
But no, people who are correct and speak out get killed.
Yes. People who are correct and speak out get punished. People who are correct and speak out get put in Facebook jail. People who are correct and speak out against people that are doing bad things in the local realm get put in social jail.
Do you know what happens to famous people when whatever the infrastructure is, whatever the organism or the order or the world governments, the collective, the groups, do you know the order of what happens to those people? They get three strikes. Mm-hmm. The first one is they get censored or canceled. If that doesn't work, they put them in jail. They either kill them there or they don't. They let them out. But if you can get past the cancellation and then you can get past the jail, do you know what the third option is? It's death. For almost every famous person. So you have to be famous. If you're just a plebe, like if you're just part of the proletariat, if they don't care so much, they'll just cancel you and put you in social media jail.
Frankie's bourgeois though. He's not proletariat.
No, I'm not.
You said the final option is death. What if the final option is ruler or success? I mean, isn't that the case? And maybe I'm a little wrong.
Generally, in my
Putin?
opinion, and Bob may have a difference of opinion there, but I think you can take most of the famous people that have a lot of influence on social media and what social media has done to magnify the influence of celebrities and famous people. The first thing they do is they cut you on the free speech. First, they cancel you. they censor you. When that doesn't work and you keep on coming, they put you in jail. They just put you in jail. And if that doesn't work, if you get out, they will probably kill you. I mean, it's just like there are famous people right now. I mean, you can take a look at everyone from Julian Assange to Edward Snowden to, I don't want to say my guy, I'll get into someone, Andrew Tate, that he's in a Romanian jail. He's been in a Romanian jail, and his target message is for young men of military age to stop being a wuss. Stop it. Stop it. Take your power back. And they try to cancel him. Then they put him in jail. And he even said, they're going to kill me. I mean, with also world famous people like the Epsteins, who are bad. This happens to good and bad people. Epstein they went straight to jail. And then, well, I mean, behind back doors, I think they probably tried to cancel him. But then they put him in jail. And then they killed him. I think they jail. But it's kind of like when someone gets hung with, they got 2 shots in the head. That's like, man, maybe they didn't. In the case of Epstein, it was
whoa.
He was not shot in the head.
He was not. Yeah,
he was hung.
Right.
But he was probably not of his own. He probably didn't hang himself.
Just like that painting on the wall, Jeffrey didn't hang himself. Is that what you're saying? Sorry, it's an old joke. That was like going around when he first died.
I like that one.
So what we're getting at is
Brittany, bring us back.
Bring us back, please.
Bring us back. Huh?
Take me off the cliff.
Frank's in jail.
Facebook jail.
Facebook jail. What happens next to you, Frank? you get canceled.
If I don't stop,
you get canceled, and then you're going to go to real jail.
I'm not famous. I'm talking about world famous people that have.
How many Facebook accounts do you have, though?
I have 1, and then I've got 3 business pages on it. So when they put me in jail, I can't operate any of the business stuff. Which, by the way, the first 4 times I got put in jail, I will take ownership of one of those times.
Of one of the 4.
I will take ownership of that. But when you agree with a feminist that men can be pigs, with the Facebook AI algorithm says you cannot say that men are anything but men. You can't say that women, okay, do you want to hear this? I got put in Facebook jail once for saying trans women are trans women. Because you can't say that. Cannot say that. You can say trans women are women, but you can't. But the AI algorithm will not allow you to say trans women are women.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize what the first part of it. I'm like, so they're going, I'm so confused. Trans women are not trans women.
You can only, the algorithm says that trans women are women, and that's what's accepted. You can't say trans women are men because you're booted.
Okay.
You can't say anything but what the algorithm says.
Well, again, it's Zuckerberg's Facebook, not the Frank book.
I know you guys. I know you're right. I know you're right.
And again, we don't have to agree with Zuckerberg either. I personally do not on pretty much every standard that Frank's in Facebook for right now. I think that you should be able to say what you want to say because Facebook was originally presented to us as a platform of free speech. Now we all know, and we thank you, Eli. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Zuckerberg.
No, the Twitter guy.
Elon Musk.
For pointing out that is not true. These platforms aren't for your free speech. You can't put whatever you want out there.
But you can on Twitter now unless you're Kanye, right?
Yes, that's true. But I'm talking, past things. We were sold an idea and told an idea about this, and we're seeing, thank you to Mr. Musk, or
Yes.
Do you know Facebook used to be called Hot or Not?
Yeah.
When first came out?
In college, Harvard, when those guys launched at Harvard.
Yeah. Anyway.
And again, my social media, my non-business social media presence is basically limited to my kids and sports. I don't go down the road Frankie goes. Right. I have my own platform here. I have my own platform on the website. I can do this. I can talk about whatever I want there. And I can do that, and I know what I can say and can't say. Now, I know there are some things I don't say because it might offend some people. But for the most part, I have a lot of freedom here. Being an owner of this company, I can say what I want. But I also and try to be very responsible in that regard. Do I think Vladimir Putin is an asshole and probably should be whacked? Sure. I agree with that. But
we're gonna edit that out.
I'm not going to I'm not going to jump on, I'm not going to have one of the stealths from Sedalia pick me up on the way and go. I'm not going to do that. I'm not Ethan Hunt. So that really doesn't have much. I don't think it has much sway. It doesn't have much. It doesn't do me any good to say that. For me to just say that, it's just okay, it accomplishes nothing if I say
upside.
that. No upside at all on this platform.
Only downside.
Yeah. So why would I just decide to go and write a blog or a column every day that says so and so should die? That it gains me nothing, and I'm also and like our boy Zuck, I'm trying to run a business here. So we want to do things that are a little edgy and do some stuff that's got some personality, but there's some stuff we're not gonna do. I mean, that's just.
I think that's the right.
We want to give people platforms. We want people to be creative. We want people to write good long form stories. Brittany, the deadline for your story is February 10th. So,
Oh, no. You wove that into
She's got a deadline. She's so bummed she has a deadline to follow, deadline to hit.
Deadline.
It's dead.
Deadline.
Dun, dun,
Normally, she comes up with her own ideas most of the time, and they're great ideas, and she writes these beautiful pieces that people love.
You do write beautifully.
Thank
But
you. Just takes me forever.
She takes a bit. But now we've got one where she needs to get this done in 8 days. And so she's having a little proclaimed about it.
Yeah.
Angst. So,
I
but
have
I
a
know she
deadline.
can do it because I have faith in you and you'll get it done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I
Good
try
job.
to be a benevolent dictator.
Yes.
You are
someday.
You are benevolent dictator.
Try to be very benevolent, yes. What'd you say?
Dictator.
Come on. No, she said, but sometimes. What the heck? Come on. So,
Oh, goodness.
on that note, I have an engagement to get to. And I want to thank you for stopping by. I want to thank you for sitting in for Ashley.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we will see y'all here again next week.
Awesome. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.
This is our jam. This is our jam. Let's go, cause this is our jam. This is our jam.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.